What's going on, Leafs Nation? This is Victor, and I'm going to be very honest with you right off the top. This is one of those stories you almost don't want to hear as a fan. Not because it's happening, but because the fact that it's even being discussed tells you something about the moment this team is in. This isn't about one bad game or one rough stretch. This is about perspective, about how fragile the line can be between competing and completely changing direction. Today's topic matters because it touches the most sensitive nerve this fan base has. And even if you completely hate the idea, it forces a conversation the Leafs can't avoid forever. Before we get into it, if you follow this team every day like I do, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Help us reach 600 subscribers so we can keep having real, honest Leafs conversations here. All right, let's talk about the trade idea that would shock the entire NHL. Let's be clear from the start. There is no indication the Maple Leafs are actively shopping Auston Matthews. He's not on the block. He hasn't asked out, and everything publicly suggests he's committed to staying in Toronto. But this is the NHL, and sometimes even the most unthinkable ideas get discussed, at least hypothetically. A recent trade proposal imagines the San Jose Sharks making a massive, franchise-altering move to acquire Auston Matthews. And while it's strictly hypothetical, the logic behind it is what has people talking. Matthews is 28 years old, and despite a season that hasn't felt dominant by his standards, the production is still there. He has 26 goals and 21 assists for 47 points in 50 games this season. That's nearly a point per game, even in what many would call a down year. Zoom out to the full picture, and it becomes even more impressive. Over his NHL career, Matthews has played 679 games, scoring 427 goals and adding 347 assists for 774 points. That's a 1.14 points per game average across his entire career. Very few players in the league live in that territory. So why would anyone even suggest trading a player like that? Because San Jose is quietly emerging from a rebuild. Their prospect pool is deep. Their future looks bright. And if you're a team sitting on a mountain of young assets, sometimes the fastest way to contention is swinging big for a superstar. For a deal like this to even be possible, Matthews would have to waive his trade protection, and San Jose would need to maneuver the cap. Both are huge hurdles. But again, this is about concept, not expectation. The proposed return for Toronto is enormous. In this scenario, the Leafs would receive Colin Graf, Shakir Mukhamadullin, 2 first-round picks, and an additional third-round pick. There's also a contract included purely for salary purposes, with the assumption it wouldn't be a long-term piece. Graf, at just 23 years old, has put up 15 goals and 16 assists for 31 points in 53 games this season. He projects as a legitimate middle six forward with potential to grow into more. Mukhamadullin is a high-upside defenseman who still needs polish, but could realistically develop into a second-pair NHL blue liner. Add in multiple high draft picks, and suddenly you're not talking about a retool. You're talking about a full reset. From a Leafs fan perspective, this is where the emotions hit hard. Trading Matthews would mean accepting that this era didn't deliver what we all hoped it would. It would mean starting over, finding a new identity, building something entirely different and younger. And that's terrifying. Yes, Matthews hasn't delivered playoff success here. That's the reality. But he's also the face of the franchise. The best goal scorer most of us have ever watched wear blue and white. Losing him would feel like tearing the heart out of the team. At the same time, there's the uncomfortable truth. Championship windows don't stay open forever. And if management ever believed that starting fresh was the only way forward, this is the kind of return they would need to justify it. On the other side, San Jose would instantly move from a promising young team to a legitimate contender. A player like Matthews changes everything: expectations, pressure, and opportunity. As a fan, I don't want this to happen, but I understand why people are willing to talk about it. This trade idea isn't about realism, it's about reflection. It shows just how high the stakes are for the Maple Leafs right now, how close this team feels to a crossroads, and how fragile the balance can be between believing in the core and deciding it's time to start again. Trading Auston Matthews would shake the league to its core. It would redefine the Leafs for the next decade. And even thinking about it tells you how heavy this moment feels for the franchise. Now, I want to hear from you, honestly. Is this idea completely off the table? Or do you at least understand the argument behind it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, give the video a like if you appreciate real Leafs discussions, and subscribe. This is Victor. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Leafs go!